Hi there. In this video, we're going to see how to manage authentication for administrators. The administrators are those accounts that allow you to manage the management server and the gateways. And in order to do that, we have to jump over the management settings, permissions, and administrators in the menu administrators. And here we get to create the administrators. So by using SmartConsole, we're going to create administrators that only are allowed to access SmartConsole. Now, in order to create administrators to access Gaia and the portal, we have to create those administrators using Gaia portal or Gaia CLI, and we're going to take a look at it later. So let's create an administrator using SmartConsole, and then we're going to test and see the difference between creating an administrator using SmartConsole and using Gaia Portal or CLI. So we click here, new, and we type the name. We can add a description. As for authentication methods, we can select the one that is suitable according to your environment, but for now I'm just going to use checkpoint password, and I'm going to type a new password. And I'll deselect this option, and we have to assign also a permission profile. Permission profiles allows you to differentiate administrators with all rights and operators, or if you have, for instance, some auditors in your network and you want them to have access to your SmartConsole, but you don't want to allow them to make changes. Okay, so the way to differentiate those level of access is by creating permission profile. So this new user that I'm creating, Carvalho, I'll set the permission profile to read only all. And we can add additional information if you want, but I'll just skip like this. So the user is creating the administrator, and let's publish this change. So checkpoint, it has this concept of concurrent sessions. It means that it allows you to have multiple administrators logged in simultaneously. For instance, I created right now this administrator. I can open another session with your SmartConsole, and this won't affect or won't terminate the session currently with the admin administrator or admin user. Okay, I think it's ready. Okay, now I use Carvalho. So with this user, it has limited privilege compared to admin. It means he can read all, can have access to everything, but is not allowed to make any change. And this user is only allowed to access SmartConsole. If we try to access the management server, it will be denied. And actually we can test right now. So this is our management server IP address, and if we try to use the administrator Carvalho, we see permission denies. Okay, and currently we are logged in as Carvalho and also as admin. So if, for instance, let's look at the policies. And I want to compare this with the administrator. Okay, and I can see the same thing as the administrator user. Okay, is it possible to delete? You see that delete, cut, these options are all grayed out. So it means I can see, but I can change. Okay. So if I try to log in, that's kind of value and stand 111. You already know that it's going to fail, but okay, permission denied. Okay, so even though he's administrator, but he doesn't have privilege to make change, and he is not allowed to access Gaia portal or even CLI. Okay, so what happens when we create an administrator using Gaia portal? Okay, so let's see this. I'll log in as the admin. Okay, and to add a user, you have to go to user management, users. And we see that currently we only have 2 users, admin and a monitor. So let's add a new user, and I'll say probably Homer password, and I'll confirm the password. Real name Homer, and it's going to have its own directory. It is going to have access to default CLI, English, and I can assign a role. So I'll say he's an admin, and he can have access to web, the portal, and CLI. Okay, so I'll press OK. So it was added successfully, and I don't have to save because it was saved already. Okay, so let's try to log in with this user, and that's SSH Homer 10.1.1.1. Okay, and we are successfully inside. And see that right now we have 3 administrators, but if we look here in SmartConsole, we only have 2. You should be clear about this difference between creating users or administrators using SmartConsole, between creating them using Gaia Portal or CLI. Okay. So now I've created user using the portal. So let's see if what can I do using Krish. So let me create another user here, and it's probably add user. Let's call Bart. UID 0. My home D has to be home Bart. Oh, I can't make change because right now the user admin has privilege using the portal. So if I want to override this, I have to run this command, and it has to be log database override. And if we look now at the portal, should have a lock. It means that right now we can't make any change here, but we can override if we click, because now who's logged in using Clish has write privilege. Okay, so let's add the user, and we have to set a password for this user. Set user bar password, and we have to set add a role to this user, and that's Bart. And we want to say he's a monitor, he's an operator. Okay, let's see. Show user Bart. Okay, let's see if this user was created successfully, and I'll try to log in as Bart, and I'm successfully authenticated. Okay, now let's see if Bart can log in using the portal. And he can. And we can play with these permissions. For instance, let's say that we don't want Bart to access the portal, and he should only access CLI, or vice versa. And what we can do, I'll log in again as Homer, and I'll delete RBA to user. That's role-based access for user Bart. And the access mechanisms can be CLI or web, and I'm going to remove web. Okay, if we try to log in again with Bart, shouldn't be allowed to, and successfully denied. So Checkpoint has this feature, and I think it's very flexible, and you get to play with it, creating profiles, assigning roles, and you can even add a remote authentication server like ICE to manage administrators remotely instead of creating them locally on SmartConsole. So that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.